It's your boy Mike and EJ Sportscast, and we're gonna get right to it, man. We talking Bears today, nothing but Bears, and we're gonna do a little bit of pre-draft coverage. We're gonna, talk about what we think and who we think the Bears are gonna pick up, and potentially, obviously, other teams, but mainly the Bears. Um, yeah, man, we got a lot. So, where you want to get started at? You want to get started with some potential players that are going top. Maybe we should stop there. Start there before we show off who we think we're going to be drafting at pick 20.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I like that idea.
Okay, cool. Since you set this up, you kind of know what order they might be in. So I'm gonna let you figure that one out real quick.
Okay.
Um, but what we doing some QBs first. We can see. Yeah, let's see the top QBs.
All right, let me see.
I mean, there's a lot, and that's the thing about this draft. Like me and you were talking about
There we go.
earlier. There's so many good players for whatever reason. This is like the year where it's like if you're trying to rebuild, maybe you want to save some of those picks and not trade them away this year because there's some good players out there.
Yeah, there really is. Like there's good players at literally every position that the Bears need, there's a good player. Like they got a needed offensive line. They obviously could use a quarterback. They got need at wide receiver, and they got needed corner. They can get a guy from any one of those positions that could potentially be an immediate starter, like from literally every one. So you really can't go wrong. I mean, but we already talked about how we feel like they should go offensive lineman. But the way we got this set up today is where, okay, let's say they decide to go in a different direction. Let's say they decide to go corner, or let's say they decide to go quarterback, or let's say they decide to go wide receiver. We got it set up where we decide, okay, maybe they'll pick this guy, maybe they'll pick that guy. So that's how we got it set up today. But draft is what, 3 days from now, Thursday. So
Thursday.
I'm 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 not gonna say I'm excited, but I'm looking forward to watching it to see what happens. I don't want to be too excited and get disappointed. You know what I'm saying? So
Right, right.
we'll see. But
Especially since we can't even see these players really until August.
right, exactly. So it's gonna be cool. Because we actually get a first round pick. What, the first time in, like, what, 3 years? I think it's been
Three
since we had a
years,
first round
man.
pick.
3 years
Yes,
since we've had Khalil Mack. We haven't had a first round pick.
yeah. So it's gonna be nice to actually have a first round pick, even though it's 20th. Still, it's just gonna be nice to actually be in the first round. Hopefully
Right,
Pace can get it right. Tonight we pretty much gonna be Ryan Pace, who
right.
we would pick at this pick.
And
So
you know what? The 20th pick is not terrible as far as value. Like we're gonna get a very valuable pick. We're gonna get a day one starter, as long as we pick correctly. Um, which I know I honestly at this point I don't think Ryan Pace can mess up this pick just because how deep every class is. So it's like
right,
even if he gets like not the best of the best in that first round, he's gonna get somebody that's gonna be here for a while.
yeah,
So I
I
can
think so.
trust in that enough at this point.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Like, if he messes this up, he really does need to get fired. Like, for real. Like, if he messes this up, I mean, I don't know how he could. Like, honestly, like we just said, there's a ton of talent in this draft. Like, literally at every position that they need. So it's like it's gonna be hard to screw this up, but we'll see. Unless
Exactly.
somebody they pick ends up becoming a bust, but I don't know, bro. We'll figure it
I
out.
mean, it does happen. It does happen. I mean, nobody. I don't think any franchise can sit there and honestly say they've never missed out. On a guy like, oh, we picked. For example, a couple years ago when the Cardinals traded up to get Josh Rosen, and Josh Rosen is not even on the roster, probably
Right.
in anybody's roster at this point. So you can miss, man. It's literally hit or miss. But go ahead, go. Let's start seeing some of these linemen that potentially we can draft at that 20th spot. There's a lot of tough guys, man. I don't know if the pandemic just decided to make guys tougher.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it was just being aggravated that they were inside the house all the time. But some of these linemen, man, they're ferocious, like some D linemen.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Let me put up the list. Here it is, right here. So these are the top 5 guys, and
Okay,
obviously, we're not gonna get Sewell.
we're not gonna get
Christian
so.
Darrisaw, he'll potentially be in our slot. Rashawn Slater, I'd be shocked if he's in our spot. Elijah Vera
Right.
Tucker, I think we got a chance to get him, and Tevin Jenkins. So out of these 5, let's mark off Sewell and Slater. So you got 3. Darrisaw, Vera Tucker, and Jenkins. So who do we think the Bears would pick? If these 3 guys are at their spot, available at their spot, which one do you think they'll pick?
Okay, and Darrisaw, he's the one that we showed a couple weeks ago, right? You
Yep.
brought him up. He's the one
Yeah,
that
was my pick.
right? He's the
Yeah,
nonchalant guy.
Yeah, that was my pick.
Okay, yeah. I don't want him on my team. I'm gonna be honest.
Me either.
like, come on, man. I don't want a guy that doesn't like. Yes, he does his part, of course. Like, he's like one of these people that you have to like ask them to do a little bit more than their job, like constantly. Like, hey, yes, you finished your assignment, but there was extra credit that I really needed you to get done. And which is like get that second level, get that linebacker, he's not really about it seems like, like, and I don't want to have to be telling a grown-ass man that I'm paying millions of dollars to play a little harder and to get to the next assignment. You know what I'm saying? I kind of want a guy that already has that in his heart. Like, I'm destroying my guy and then I'm destroying one of them pussy linebackers or something. These guys,
Right.
I want a guy like that, and he's not it. Put that list back up real fast. I'll tell you who I do want. If obviously we can't get Panay or Darrisaw, we're probably not gonna get Slater. I don't want Tucker either. I want Jenkins.
Tevin
Jenkins. And I should have low-key brought up some highlights for him, but
I think I got some highlights
tough.
for him.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, go ahead and show his highlights. Dude's tough as nails.
See. I think I got highlights for him. I think it's. Let me double check. I think it's this one. I might rewind it.
And his footwork. When he puts your hands on you and decides to finish you, you have zero shot. The one thing he's going to have to improve is just control his emotions a little bit. He likes to play to the whistle. He's got more than.
Well, let me rewind it. That's what I was trying to figure out. It didn't start at the beginning. Let me go back to the beginning.
The offensive tackle out of Oklahoma State in the Big 12, one of my favorite players in all of college football. If you're standing there as a quarterback and you look to your left, you want to see a guy like Tevin Jenkins. The guy is massive, stands 6'6", close to 315 pounds. Kind of reminds me of Marcus Cannon. The biggest thing you'll notice is his sheer strength, his size, and his footwork. When he puts your hands on you and decides to finish you,
there you go.
You have zero shot. The one thing that he's going to have to do is just control his emotions a little bit. He likes to play to the whistle. He's got
6'6", big dude.
After the whistle.
320, bro.
That aggressiveness. I think this is a guy, when you draft him, you're looking at a 10-year left tackle for your football team.
His speed, what is he, a tackle?
Yeah.
Move him to the inside. If he has bad speed, problem solved. Because he has strength. Like, you see that guy taking people down to the ground. The guy's 320.
Yeah,
there's probably no reason why a guy that's 320 and he's not that fast should be playing in the outside. That's just me. I mean, I want my left tackle and my right tackle to have some type of speed, especially on stretch plays, toss plays. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to have some speed.
Right.
So, but other than that, like, if the guy is pretty much blocking every single person that comes through, I could care less about speed at the end of the day. As long as he's doing his job.
Right.
That would be my pick. Who would you go with if any of those guys are there?
So since you picked Jenkins we obviously not gonna get started. I'm not gonna pick Darisaw, so I got to go with Vera Tucker. But if I had my pick, I'd probably go with Jenkins like you did. He honestly looks like he'd be better. I mean, I've seen some highlights of Vera Tucker, and I'm not 100% sold on him, but I feel like Jenkins would probably be a better pick for us because he looks like he's stronger. You know, he looks like he's like the dude in the video said that he seemed like he'd be a little over aggressive at times, but you want that type
Right.
of offensive lineman. You want that dog, that nasty out of your offensive lineman. Dude's gonna
Yeah.
protect your quarterback. You know, come hook or crook, he gonna be there for the guy. He ain't gonna somebody gonna hit your quarterback late. He ain't gonna be one of them guys just like, oh, okay, let me help him up. He gonna be like he would try to beat the crap out of the dude that hit him. You know,
Right.
that's the type of dude you
Exactly.
want in your squad. And I feel like he be that guy. So that honestly, I say I want to go with Jenkins too, but you know, since you picked him, I'll go with Vera Tucker.
Vera Tucker. And
And
I mean, honestly, I don't hear nothing bad about Vera Tucker, but I don't hear nothing like that impresses me neither. Kind of like what you're saying. I don't really hear like the video
yeah,
obviously that I showed last week of Rashawn Slater or the week before that. Like we don't hear stuff like that from like Vera Tucker. But what we do hear is like that he's a good ass offensive lineman. That's why he's projected, like what, the fourth, I think I saw?
yeah,
Yeah,
fourth.
fourth best on there. So yeah, I mean, bro, that's just the excitement I keep bringing up. Like it's just so deep. Like we're not gonna miss. You take any of this guy, you even take Christian Darisaw's nonchalant ass. We're still gonna get a good ass. We're still gonna get a good ass offensive lineman. Like eventually, we're gonna get him out of that like laziness, because that nonchalant, that's just kind of laziness. Like we'll probably get him out of that, but it's gonna take a year or two. It's not gonna be right away. He's not gonna be instantly, I'm different now. It takes people time to change.
Right,
So
right. Going up in practice against Khalil Mack every day, that should probably help.
facts. Because Khalil Mack is body flipping you. He body
Yeah,
flipping you.
yeah.
I wish you had the highlight now.
Bro, that was so nasty. I laughed my
For
butt off
real.
when I saw that.
One-handed.
Yeah, that dude's a beast. God, he's a beast.
Since we're talking about linemen, do you have it? Is there another list with more offensive linemen?
I think I got the top 10. I can't see this crap. Hold on, let me see. Yeah,
Right
here's
there,
the
right
next five.
there. Okay. Yeah, see, like I hear good things about Alex Leatherwood and Jalen Mayfield. Davis, Carmen, and Creed Humphrey. I haven't heard too much from them. But there's another guy that I keep hearing that he might fall in the later rounds to us. And I hear pretty decent things about him, and the player comparison is pretty good too. Here, I'm gonna show off
Of
what you're
the
talking about
opponents
here.
just by getting
His
out
name
there,
is
right?
Dylan
At
Rodden.
6'6",
Radden.
298 pounds, there are not many FCS defenders that are ready to handle North Dakota State in general, the powerhouse being that it is, but especially when he's blocking for Trey Lance and when he's just able to mow over defenders. He's got great length. He's got great athleticism. The size is good. And so really the only thing that we're concerned about is, just like Trey Lance and with other players from the FCS or lower levels of college football, up against players and opposition that he doesn't have that overwhelming advantage for. Sometimes when he gets out into space, that upper body strength doesn't seem to dominate the way it does, at least in the box, but he's still so good, and that is something that you can pack on later. So 6'6", 298 pounds. Dylan Radens looked awesome at North Dakota State, and he still has room to get better.
So not too many. Yeah, like great. That length part I love. I love how he was saying that, like, he's never really gone up against bigger people than him, so they don't really have a scale where they can scale, okay, like, yeah, this is what he does against bigger people than him. Because guarantee you in the NFL, they are going to be bigger defensive linemen than this guy.
Oh, yeah.
But the fact that this guy is so high on him, and the strengths that are there, I feel like at a minimum, this guy's going to be solid. And this is a guy projected going to us in the second round by a lot of expert mock drafts. So that's why I wanted to throw him in there real quick.
Okay.
And then, like, yeah, this is a guy that could easily fall to us, like, in that 52nd pick. Honestly, man, like, let's be honest with ourselves, EJ. I don't really want to get, like, since we're not getting top 10, I don't really care about getting a quarterback anymore. Like, I just really want to build. Like, what's the point, of getting one of these good guys? We're still gonna need offensive linemen. Might as well just get the offensive linemen. Let Andy Dalton hopefully suck it up for us. Because I honestly, like, as much, like, that might not sound like the best fan, but I'm gonna sound like a fan that's thinking about the future. And if this guy sucks it up for us, and we do the smart thing and go in linemen the first 2 rounds, and then pick up other players in other key areas that we need, and then wait for next year and try to get a quarterback, because our record's probably gonna be like worse. You know what I'm saying? There's a high possibility it's gonna be worse. We have another higher chance to get into an even better positioning for another quarterback that might be coming out next year. That there's always gonna be quarterbacks. There's always gonna be prospects. So why go all in this year? Like, I should have saved this thing that I saw, but I was watching this guy on ESPN talk about that out of all the teams in the last 10 years that have moved up to draft a player, they did like a statistic where they did like measurements of like the players that they drafted versus the picks that they gave away for these players. Like, they overpaid. Every single team has always overpaid for a player that doesn't even end up being on the team after 5 years. Look at Mitch. Year 5.
Yep.
We paid.
Yep.
We moved up. He's in Buffalo.
Yep.
So, like, these guys know what they're talking about. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it got me thinking, like, no, let's just think about the future. As much as it sucks watching football and your team is getting destroyed, in 3 years, when we're now like this powerhouse because we were smart and we were like, yo, let's just keep picking up players. Let's find the correct coach. But honestly, I think that's the way we need to go, bro. Like, I'm not even wanting any quarterbacks anymore. Not for this year.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you, but my thing is, like, Nagy and Pace, they not going to be realistic like we are. Their thought process is, hey, if we don't make a splash, we won't have a job next year. We got to figure something out. So they might actually move up to try to get a quarterback. I don't see mock drafts where they move up. I seen a mock draft today where they move up and get Justin Fields, because a lot of people have him dropping for whatever reason. Like, Mac Jones has been moving up the boards, and for whatever reason, Trey Lance is moving up the boards because just of pure potential, and Justin Fields has been dropping. So I don't see the mock draft where they say, oh, the Bears will trade such and such, and then they'll get into this pick, and then they'll draft Justin Fields, which is like, honestly, I don't see it happening. And honestly, at this point, it wouldn't surprise me because they got to do something. They got to make a splash. Do I hope they pick an offensive lineman? Yes, because we desperately need that position.
Desperately.
Moving up to get a quarterback, it's like, I don't think that's the move. But
I agree.
Who knows? And who knows when you move up to get a quarterback? Let's just say they just sit back at 20 and say, hey, let's pick a quarterback. We have no clue what Ryan Pace is going to do. Honestly, we saw what happened with Mitchell Trubisky. I don't know where that came from, what they saw out of him that made them decide, hey, let's move on one spot to get this dude that's super unproven, who barely even played in college. And we're not even going to talk to Deshaun Watson, who won the national championship. We're going to get this guy because this guy looks like he's going to be better. So we don't know what Ryan Pace is going to do, what Nagy, or they're going to talk about what they're going to end up doing. We don't know. But honestly, I would not be surprised if they end up drafting a quarterback just based on the fact they got to make a splash because they're in desperation mode. If they screw it up this year, it's a wrap for them. It should have been wrapped for them, like, honestly, this year. Like I think you said it like maybe a week or so ago, talking about how it'd be smarter if they draft a quarterback. Because honestly, regardless of what they do, I feel like we're gonna be terrible this year, and they probably both of them will still get fired. So it'd be smarter if the next regime they draft the quarterback because that'd be their guy.
Right.
I think you brought this up like last week, and I think that would be the better move because a lot of times when these new coaches get in, and the year before, let's say they drafted a quarterback, well, that's not his guy. That's not the that's not the new coach's guy. That's the old coach's quarterback. So the coach that comes in, he's not going to have no commitment to that guy. Like when Nagy got here, he wasn't 100% committed on Mitchell Trubisky. That's why we ended up getting Nick Foles because it's like,
Right.
well, that's not Nagy's guy. He didn't draft Mitchell Trubisky. That was during John Fox's era that we got Mitchell Trubisky. So it's like it'd be smarter if they ended up getting a quarterback like next year, because I'm pretty sure Nagy and Pace are going to be going after this year. But like I said, with this dude, we don't know because like they're both desperate. They got to do something, and who knows that's something for them. Might be moving up to get a quarterback or just drafting one at 20. We don't know.
True. Yeah, I mean, you got a good point about them having to make a splash, which that's what kind of scares me. Like,
yeah,
what's his name? McCaskey. He kind of messed up with like ultimately he messed up by not. Because he didn't want, obviously, with the pandemic, they didn't make a lot of money. So he didn't want to take another L by, here's a free $3 million or whatever to Matt Nagy, leave. Here's another free couple $1 million to Pace, leave. And now I got to go pay this person, bring him on, signing bonus, all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? All this extra stuff. So I get it. Like he was thinking about his pockets ultimately. I really don't think he was thinking about the future of the team with keeping them two here. But since we were on the topic of quarterbacks anyway, did you have a list of the top quarterbacks that we could potentially get? I know you had the linemen. I know you got receivers on there too.
Well, I think this is the top 5, which I'd be shocked if they get any of these dudes. Shocked.
Yeah,
They definitely not gonna get the top. They definitely gonna not to get the top 2. Justin Fields, who knows with him? Because like I said, his stock just keeps dropping for whatever reason. Trey Lance, his is going up, so I'd be shocked if they get him. Same thing with Mac Jones. He's another one that his stock just keeps going up for whatever reason. But
and I'm surprised.
Same here, man.
Well, especially with Trey Lance, because like just a couple months ago, this guy was dropping all the way to the 3rd round and the 2nd round. And like you said, now he's all the way up there just purely on potential.
Yeah, because like on this little top ranking, he's the 4th ranked quarterback in the entire draft. It's like, I don't know, man. Like they going on pure potential with him. We'll see how it goes. But, as far as the Bears, if they got any of these dudes, I'd be completely shocked. Like, it's literally going to be like one of those holy crap, how did they end up matching? I think they would have to move up to get any of these dudes, honestly. They would have to, I feel like.
I agree. And at one point, Mac Jones was dropping pretty low too. So it was like,
yeah, some mock drafts got him going 3rd to the 49ers. So it's like, I don't know, man. It's crazy, man. Like, we just going to have to play the waiting game with this, man.
These are the receivers here. Sorry, I'm just going through. Oh, here we go. This is the guy that I wanted to get to. So Davis Mills, I have a little video of him. This is a guy that they're saying potentially that we could draft in the 2nd round at pick 52. And I seen a little bit of footage on him. I'm not 100% sold. Like this guy his ceiling is just like a low tier starting quarterback. Like he's gonna be pretty much like a Ryan Tannehill type of thing. But they keep linking him to us. But here's a little video on him.
He's a rhythm thrower that is best when attacking zone. Mills is a rhythm thrower that is best when attacking zones, similar to Baker Mayfield but without Mayfield's arm strength. Although he throws with accuracy and touch, there are times where it looks as though he predetermines his reads, and that leads to poor decisions throwing into tight coverage.
Mitch.
The Georgia native has a little more than one season's worth of production, so there is still a lot of learning left to do before he reaches his potential. Mills projects as a high-end backup with the chance to develop into a lower-tier starter. It would benefit him to land with a team with a strong running game that is going to allow him to roll out of the pocket and cut the field in half. My comparison for him is Jarrett Stidham.
And it's like, the Bears aren't going to – Nagy hates cutting the field in half.
Yeah.
That's he didn't want to do that with Mitch. So it's like they keep, a couple of experts on these drafts, they keep saying that we potentially are going to get him in the second round and see what he can do. But it's like, that's why at this point, I'm like, if you guys are just going to get a project anyway, just build, maybe draft a project one. Like I said last week or the week before, I said, I'm okay with grabbing a QB in the third round just to have him on the roster. You just don't know. You never know if that third round pick could come out to be somebody.
You never know.
But that first 2 rounds, I say don't waste it on a QB at this point, because if it's not one of those top 5 guys, it's a waste at this point. Honestly, not for how many other good players and positions that we need. Like, so you're telling me, if the Bears are this desperate, they're going to okay, let's say Justin Fields is there at 20. Yeah, I'll probably take Justin Fields, but the fact that he's dropping so low, do you really want to take him, or do you want to go on a guy that you're going to get return value right away? They're not going to have to sit. They're not going to have to learn or anything. Boom, instant starter. I'm going with that instant starter. Like, it's no guarantee that this quarterback is going to be, especially with no line. Like, how's he going to go off with no line?
Yeah, that's part of the problem. Nobody to block for him.
Exactly. So it's like we're just in a tough spot, man. If there was a way that we could trade and get another first round pick, but we would have to obviously trade Mac. At this point, nobody's trying to pick up Mac in that contract because he still has a lot of money owed to him.
Yeah.
We're just in a tight spot, bro, to be honest. And I just don't want to waste it on the QB.
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, but just to go to the bottom 5 guys that you put up, if they decided, hey, let's get one of these quarterbacks, and all of the first 5 guys that we put up, they're all going, which they'll probably be, I would either get Kyle Trask or Kellen Mond, 2 guys that we did showcases on, a couple of months back. I would get either one of those guys. I feel like they got some pretty decent potential, those 2. But, like you said, unless you're trying to get one of these guys, these top 5 quarterbacks, it's like, well, what's the point? Honestly, I don't see the reasoning. Okay, let's wait till second round, or let's get a guy in the first round, but he's not even going to start, right? Because they already said that Andy Dalton's going to be QB1 at this point, and it's like, okay, well, if let's say they do, let's just throw this scenario out here. Let's just say they do draft a quarterback. They said that Andy Dalton's going to be QB1. I'm pretty sure Andy Dalton's going to start. And then as soon as he messes up, they're going to put the rookie in or whatever. It's going to be literally a Mike Glennon, Mitchell Trubisky situation all over again. That's literally what's going to end up happening. It's like,
right,
history is literally going to repeat itself. My God, man, it's just, this crap gets old, man. Honestly, they need to go offensive linemen. But right now, I guess we talk about quarterbacks. And as far as quarterbacks go, you're not getting top 5, then I'm saying get Mond or get Kyle Trask, one of those 2.
And I prefer the 2 that you just mentioned, the Kyle Trask and Kellen Mond. Preferably Kellen Mond. I mean, we showcased him. He was pretty good. I mean, no, Kyle Trask has some stuff too. Honestly, I'm not gonna be 100% excited with either one, but I'm not gonna be against it either, because they're decent. They have potential. They're guys that are gonna have to sit for at least a year But like you said, most likely it's going to be like a few games, and then he's going to be thrown into this tough schedule. It's just not. It's not looking good.
Yeah, honestly.
You have any? Oh, I think you had some. Didn't you have some footage on one of the top QBs?
The only one I got it for is Mac Jones. So I got one for Mac Jones. So I'll play that.
Hey, potentially, I've seen mock drafts from experts that we've moved up to get him. So
yeah,
it wouldn't be too far fetched.
Yeah.
Mac Jones, standing at 6'3", 214 pounds. Well, it's hard to do better than what Mac Jones was able to do this past season for Alabama, helping them win a national championship, one of the most prolific offenses we've ever seen, in large part to his decision-making. He's a smart quarterback, showcases a high football IQ, with defenses doing all they can to take away some of his best targets. He's extremely accurate, has a strong enough arm to make all of the throws, and he manages the pocket well and handles pressure well. Now, there are some limitations to his game. At this point, you'd have to say that he's probably tapped out. I don't know that he's going to improve his arm strength or get that much better, but you also wonder if the situation and circumstance that he enters into isn't paramount for him because of that. He was surrounded by a lot of talent at Alabama. If he's taken high in this draft, that's most likely not going to be the case for that team he'll be playing with. So he's going to have to be able to overcome that, and also not being quite as mobile. That's what the NFL requires nowadays. But my comp for him is another former Alabama quarterback, A.J. McCarron. So I think in the right system, right fit, Mac Jones can be incredibly successful.
That'd be a stupid pick for us, because they would have to move. They would most likely have to move up to get him. And if they move up, let me remove this. And if they moved up to get him, you see one of his weaknesses. He's not athletic and mobile.
Right.
The dudes that we got right now are neither athletic or mobile. A couple stats back there. So it's like, what's the difference? Like, seriously, you gonna get this kid killed. So that would be a stupid pick. Like, they would have to get an offensive lineman if they got him. But they can't, because he would literally be their first pick. And then they would get it, offensive lineman second round? And who said they would have a second round if they moved up to get him?
Exactly.
So that's a dumb pick for them. Stupid pick.
Yeah, at this point, like, unless that guy falls to us, and it's like we won't know what teams are really looking for until Thursday, which I'm glad that we're finally going to start getting this out of the way. I'm glad that we're finally going to get this draft out of the way this weekend, so we can kind of talk, in the next show, hopefully we can focus on our new rookies. It can be a show just dedicated to showing their highlights and welcome them to the team, the way the Chicago Bears fans do. So, I 100% agree, though. If we go up to move Mac Jones with no athleticism, or just minimal athleticism with being able to move around, I don't. It's not going to be good for him unless y'all guaranteeing that he's just going to sit. Oh, we're going to sit him down until he gets a lineman. But then going back to the point you made, they're trying to make splashes. They're not trying to they're not trying to pick up players that are going to be sitting. They're trying to pick up players that are going to play right away and are going to make noise. So, but if he somehow fell to us and he was there, that 20th round pick, take him just because of his accolades. He kind of reminds me of Sean Watson. He comes in already decorated. So at a minimum, he's going to be at least decent. And if you take him first round, if he drops to you in the 20 spot, then you can use that 52 pick to go get another badass lineman. So then you get your cake and you eat it too at that point, because you get a top 5 quarterback that fell to you for whatever reason. And then, because I trust him more than any other quarterback that could possibly fall to us there, just because of what he mentioned, those accolades. It's like, okay, this guy's he's been in situations where it's like it's a big game. I love when he said that this guy's it was partly due to his decision making as to why they were so good. So that ultimately that's awesome, man. It's we'll see what happens with that pick. That'd be cool. Let's move on to I think you got a couple wide receivers here. The wide receiver pool is actually pretty good too. I'm excited about that. Like, Like we keep suggesting, like this, it's just so deep with players this year. It's not even funny.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah, here we go. Here's the top. These are the top 5.
Okay. And I do hear Rondale Moore a lot coming to us.
Yeah, Rondale Moore, and then another one, Kadarius Toney. He's another one I hear a lot about. And his quarterback was Kyle Trask. So, you know.
Wouldn't that be a coincidence? Oh, he's 6 foot. Okay, he's not super short. This Kadarius Toney, I like that.
Yeah, he's the one that's like real quick, fast, kind of like similar to Devin Hester as far as explosiveness.
Okay, yeah, I believe you got some highlights on him. Go ahead and show him off real quick.
Okay, yeah, let me show him real quick.
He looks pretty good too on film. Doesn't look too bad. Looks like he has potential.
Yeah, let me play the video.
This dude is a flat-out baller. You get him the ball in space, he will make you pay. He's the Swiss Army knife of college football. His explosiveness is off the charts, and he lived up to that ability when he got open. He was dangerous in space, but he did not win battles one-on-one as often as maybe he should be. That's what he needs to clean up to be a superstar. He's a special teams ace. He's a versatile wide receiver. Gonna compare him. High hopes. Florida fans might not like it, but we're going down to the U. Devin Hester is what this guy can be at the next level.
The only weakness that I dislike, obviously, was that he can get bumped off his route really easily. And that could probably easily be just due to his strength. And in the NFL, they're gonna make sure he's strong, man. They're gonna make sure you top shape. I don't know how it goes in college. I don't know if you can take days off, but in the NFL, they ain't gonna give you no workout days off unless you're a vet. So,
right,
they'll get him right. They'll get him strong. He does look pretty good though. Like I like that play that he had. I wish he would have finished there. It would have been even nicer because that would have showed off some of that speed. But the explosiveness is there, man. You saw he bounced off that dude and still gained a lot of yardage after that play. So,
yeah.
I like what I saw.
Yeah, I don't see quite a few mock drafts. Like when I was first started looking at the mock drafts, he was like literally 90% of them had the Bears picking him, which is like, okay, if he's there and they decide to go wide receiver, okay, why not? But do we really want another wide receiver at a draft? I don't like that pick. I wouldn't pick that. Like, I wouldn't go there. Like, if out of all the positions that we've talked about, well, we haven't got the corner, but we've talked about offensive lineman and quarterback, and then now wide receiver. I'm either picking an offensive lineman or a quarterback before I go wide receiver. I don't feel like we need to do wide receiver. But, like I said, if he's available and they decide to go that route as wide receiver, then, yeah, I think they should pick him. Because they could use an explosive receiver. Part of the reason we have such a hard time on offense, we didn't have a lot of explosive plays. That's one of the things we've been the worst in the league with for like years. Explosive plays. So
I think we had only a handful last year.
Yeah, it was pretty sad. We had like some opportunities. I know, like we go back to that Rams game where we had like 2 different plays that could have went for touchdowns. That didn't go for touchdowns. So it's like, we could use more explosive plays on this offense for sure. That's part of the reason why like nobody fears the Bears on offense. They offensive line was terrible, so a lot of times they had to get the ball out quick. They throwing like 3-yard passes. Like there's no explosiveness. Defenses can literally just hang back, play zone, and then once the Bears dump it off, they just go and make the tackle. That's literally all they had to do against the Bears.
Exactly.
It's like if we get a guy, like I said, they went that route for wide receiver, yeah, I would pick him up. If they decided, hey, we want to get a wide receiver, let's get him.
Yeah, the dude definitely I like what I saw. And then if we go that route, I highly doubt that they're gonna go for a wide receiver though. Like,
oh yeah,
I don't
fully agree.
It's like you said, it's not a pick that like he's not gonna be number 2 most likely. You know what I'm saying? So it's not it's not a pick that's gonna help right away. Like at this point, like you said, they're trying to make splash plays, so they're gonna go after people that are gonna help us right away. Now, if they would have got like one of those top guys, say if like Jamar Chase ends up falling to us, and they'll probably go grab him. I mean, that guy's probably one of the best wide receivers coming out. So then at that point, yeah, he's automatically going to be number 2 or number 1. So then, yeah, that's you went and now you fix the explosion on offense. Now you got to fix you go get a tackle round 2, get a quarterback round 3, and then just keep building from there. But not a bad pick at all. You got any other wide receivers you got here to show highlights, or that was your last one?
I think I got one more. Let me see. I think this guy here.
Came back, didn't play a lot.
Oh, okay.
Hold on, let me rewind it.
Only played.
I've heard, this guy falling to us too.
Seasons. He opted out for COVID, had some injuries, came back, didn't play a lot. And when you look at his tape, there's a lot to like about Rondale Moore. He's explosive. He's not big. He's only 5'9", maybe 200 pounds at best. But he's built solidly. He's strong. He can get down the field. He didn't run a lot of routes at Purdue. That's a bit of a concern. He didn't run the entire route tree, but they use him a variety of ways. He's going to have to learn to become an NFL receiver. You know who else had to learn to become an NFL receiver? Tyreek Hill. And when you watch Tyreek Hill now for the Kansas City Chiefs, that's what I think the team that drafts Rondale Moore will be getting. A guy you can use in a variety of ways with big play speed and strength. Rondale Moore will be an explosive playmaker on the next level.
Injury
that
prone.
Weakness. That's the same thing I saw. That injury prone. I was just like, ooh. Kind of reminded me of Kevin White a little bit, you know?
Yeah, literally what I was thinking. Oh, no, not another Kevin White situation. Nah.
Yeah, we've already had that bad luck with receivers and they injury prone. And that's the crazy part. Kevin White didn't come out. Like, that was not his part of his weaknesses was injury prone. He just happened to be injury prone when he got to the NFL. Because before that, he was fine. Like, I don't know what was going on in practice with that man, bro, because he was always getting hurt either in practice or the first game of the season. So I don't know what was going on.
Right. Yeah, it was bad, man. God,
another thing I didn't like about Rondale Moore was the fact that he's only 5'10". Like, we already have Mooney, who's 5'9", 5'10". We don't need another short guy, you know?
Right.
But besides that, like, the guy, I think he's one of the fastest receivers coming out in the draft. So I do love the fact that he has a lot of speed to help complement Darnell Mooney's speed as well. So now you're not just like, yo, let me double or let me play, single safety high with on Darnell Mooney's side or whatever, because they won't be able to do that. They'll have to watch the entire field because they're like, okay, there's another guy that can stretch the other side of the field. So now one safety has to pay attention to one is now you can't just sit there and try to ball hog. You know what I'm saying? So he would help there. But that's about it. Like, I don't really see him coming in and being like Megatron or nothing. He's not going to change the offense completely for us. It's just going to be another threat pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah. Like, I don't know. Like you said, we already talked about drafting wide receivers. I don't think it'd be a great idea at that pick. But as far as him, like, it's one of his strengths is his explosiveness, which I already said we could use some more explosive plays. We really need that. But yeah, that his height kind of does like get me like, because I'm with you. Like, do we really need another wide receiver that's like at that height? I've never really seen like two wide receivers on both sides. That's like kind of like that size. Well, maybe I think the Kansas City Chiefs, both of their receivers are kind of like around that size, aren't they? Like with Tyreek Hill and what's the other guy's name? The other wide receiver on the other side. I forget the other wide, but I feel like I know they had Sammy Watkins, but he was like a third option, I think, like a third receiver. But what's the other kid's name?
I forgot his Mecole Hardman, I think.
Yeah. I don't think he's that tall either.
He's not that tall. No, he's not that tall. He's like 5'10", 5'11".
But the thing with them is like they got like insane speed. Like Tyreek Hill is like crazy fast, and Hardman. A lot of people, you ask Tyreek Hill say, "Yeah, Hardman's about as fast as me." So it's like they got all that speed. Now is Mooney with Mooney? Mooney's not nearly as fast as either one of them dudes. Mooney just has really great hands and he runs good routes. So it wouldn't be a situation like that.
Like you said, he's just not as fast as Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, he's not Tyreek Hill fast. The kid got some speed for sure, but his best attribute is his hands. The dude is still like
best hands in the NFL. I'll go up to bat. Best hands in the NFL.
Yeah, his hands is like it was crazy how good his hands were for somebody first year rookie coming out of college, not dropping no passes. Like he dropped one pass the whole year. And I wouldn't even really call that a drop. It was on a screen pass, and he kind of just took his eyes away from it and let it go. So I wouldn't even consider that a drop. So, but I don't know, man. Rondale Moore on the other side of him, I don't know. That's a tough one for me.
Yeah, any short, and it seems like this year, like the wide receivers are getting shorter and the cornerbacks are getting taller. Like, what's going on?
Like, right.
That don't make no sense. It used to be quite the opposite. But to wrap it up, I wanted to move into defense though, because me and you were talking before the show started that we didn't want nobody on defense in the first round because we have already so much defensive talent. Defense, like it's almost you can find guys and plug and play them in defense. Like it's not as serious, I feel like, when it comes to offense. Like you can't just plug and play any old receiver on any old particular play, you know? Right. But most likely you can put a defensive player on a certain play and the ball's not even going to go to that side of the field or anything like that. So, but there is one guy that I keep hearing that if he's there at 20, that we should potentially get him because obviously we don't have Kyle Fuller anymore. We need another corner. And I was doing a little research on this guy. He stopped a lot of good receivers like Jamar Chase, J.C. Horn. That's the guy right there that I'm about to show. He stopped a lot of good receivers as far as Jamar Chase, Jerry Jeudy, and a couple of other guys. But here are some of his plays and then some of his strengths and weaknesses.
Is his length, the God-given measurables that he's been blessed with. He's able to display that length, especially at the line of scrimmage when playing press man, bump and run, just being able to be disruptive against pass catchers, wide receivers. He's good in press coverage, like I said. He stays square. And if you really want to see exactly what type of player he is, turn the Auburn tape in 2020, playing against Seth Williams. He balled out. The concerns that I have with J.C. Horn, sometimes in 4 quarters of play, when he gets tired, he gets fatigued, he gets a bit too high. And sometimes that gets him away from his technique. But all in all, a top-tier like corner. I love J.C. Horn as a football player. The ultimate NFL comp. Let me go back in time a little bit. Al Harris.
And I love the fact that he's good with press. I mean, nowadays, you can't really live in zone too much with these offenses. Like, if you live in zone all day, they will pick you apart, especially if you have a good quarterback, obviously. So a guy that can shut down and watch, he can really play man coverage is really key nowadays. So good things, like if y'all go and do your research about J.C. Horn, later, like he does have a lot of good things. Like I hear a lot of great things, and he's tall. He's 6'1". Doesn't look too scrawny. Looks like he can, gain some more muscle and he'll be fine. So I wouldn't mind that pick just because of the names that he shut down. Like I was telling EJ before the show started that he's never in his whole entire his college career, he's never had a receiver. He's only had one receiver ever get more than 60 yards on him. And it was, forgot which one of those guys that said it was. It was the top receiver. Where's that receivers list here? Let's bring that back up real quick. I forgot exactly who it was. It might have been Devontae Smith. Yep, that's who it was. Devontae Smith is the only receiver in the whole career of Horn that ever got more than 60 yards on him in a touchdown. So the guy is literally, he can go up against your number one. And we already got a shutdown corner in what's the name? Damn, it just escaped me right now. The guy that we just got on the Bears, Jaden.
Jalen Johnson?
Jalen Johnson. My bad. It completely escaped me for a second. But he's already kind of a shutdown corner. So we get another guy like him, we're going to be super solid on defense. But as we keep stating, we really need to focus on offense. It should be all about offense this year because it's like Pace will talk like, yeah, we're going to focus on offense. And then it's like he'll do all this shit to make the defense better. Like even in the offseason, he made the defense better. But did he really do anything to make our offense better? No.
Nope. No, nothing.
So,
not a thing.
If he focuses like straight on offense, like say if he went like the first 4 picks like straight on offense, I would applaud him. I would, because it'd be like the start of a change that we want to see from him. Like he talks a big game, but he lies a lot. You know, you're like, oh, we're gonna do this. We're gonna draft a quarterback every year that I'm here. We've drafted what, Mitchell Trubisky, and that was it.
It was like a car salesman, man. Like for real. Can't trust him.
But just to cut my part short, that's who I would go after. Like if he was there, I guess I wouldn't mind him too much. He looks pretty solid.
Yeah, I don't mind that pick either, because one, his size, and I feel like the way that the Bears play defense, he would fit in, because like they could use a guy that's good in man coverage, honestly, and hopefully with the new defense coordinator, decide that they actually play more man to man. They play a crap ton of zone last year, and they got literally picked apart the whole year. So, hopefully, we do play man to man. But if he's like available at that pick, I wouldn't mind that pick. I wouldn't mind them going there either. But like you said, like honestly, Pace, his focus needs to be offense. We need to solidify the offense. Like you said, the offseason, we really primarily focused on defense. We did get that one running back from what was it, Kansas City he came from. That's going to be a lot of backup to David Montgomery. Well, I guess he's going to, but David Montgomery's going to be the primary. He'll be like coming in like in certain situations. But besides that, it was mostly focused on defense. So it's like if they go into the draft and pick defensive players, it's like in the first 4 picks, like what are y'all doing, man? The offense needs to be good. We need offensive line help, outside and interior. They decide to go a quarterback, they decide to go wide receiver, but there needs to be some picks for the offensive side of the ball. There's no need for defense. Like defense is not their defense does not need to be a priority.
And it's not like our
I don't
defense.
See so many mock drafts where they.
Yeah, go ahead. My bad.
Yeah, exactly. No, you good. But it's like all these years, our defense has been solid. What's the one thing that we have not had in all these years when we had good defense? Good offense. Literally. I mean, I kind of want to see the roles reversed. Like, let's say we had a top tier offense. How good will we do versus have a middle of the pack defense and see what happens? But it's always been we've had really good defense and horrible offense. That's literally been the staple of the Bears. Like, and then the year we went to the Super Bowl, offense was basically we ran the ball a lot. We ran the ball and we played good defense. That was our offense when we went to the Super Bowl. In the Jay Cutler years, we had a decent running game. And Jay Cutler was okay at quarterback. He's probably been the best quarterback we've had like the last, 10 years, honestly, if you want to be real. But it's like, for the most part, the offense has been absolutely horrible. Like, they got to address some stuff on the offense, man. Like, there's zero reason why we should be picking a corner at the 20th pick. Like, I don't see several mock drafts where they had a corner. I'm just scratching my head. Yeah, I know that's a need because they got rid of Kyle Fuller, but that's not who you want to spend that 20th pick on. Like, if anything, go get an offensive lineman, solidify that position. Like, don't go, oh, let's get a cornerback. For what? And then what's going to happen with the offensive line situation? What's going to happen, let's say, quarterback, wide receiver? What's going to happen with that? It's like, nah, man. And like wide receiver, that needs to be like doesn't really need to be an option either. It needs to be honestly, like you said, go offensive line. Like even if you go first 2 picks offensive line, I'm okay with that. Just don't pick a corner. Don't pick a wide receiver. Like please don't.
Fact. No defense. No, just literally
None of
offensive line. And if you get a good ass quarterback that just happens to drop to you at 20, go ahead. But to wrap it up, I say we both pick who we think is going to be our new player coming up this Thursday on our first round. So I'm going to go first. I'm going to say with the 20th overall pick on Thursday, the Chicago Bears are going to select Rashawn Slater out of Northwestern. That's who they're going to take. My boy Rashawn Slater, big diesel, big bench press. Oh, man, y'all seen the highlights, man. That's who we're going to go with. I have a good feeling we're going to go with Rashawn Slater.
Okay. I think, man, I had a pick. I had this in my mind a couple of days ago. I forget who it was, but it's going to surprise you. I had them picking a quarterback. I can't remember which one I got. I feel like they're going to do something dumb, move up, and try to get one of these quarterbacks. But because I totally blanked that thought out of my mind because I was actually thinking about this one night, I'm going to say that they first pick, the 20th pick, is going to be Tevin Jenkins. I think that's who they're going to pick with that pick. I think that's who's going to be available for them. I think that's who they're going to end up getting. Now, I will say this. I do feel like there will be a trade. Somebody's going to move up in the first round besides the one trade that already got made. A couple of trades already got made. I feel like there is going to be a trade. I don't necessarily think it's going to be the Bears, but I think somebody is going to move up. So what they pick and who's moving up, I don't know, but I got this strong feeling that somebody's moving up in the first round up ahead of the Bears. So I don't know who, but we'll see. But I got a real strong feeling about that.
And I feel like both of our picks, and if they're there, and one of those guys is going to be there. Like there's no way that all those teams are going to get one of those 2 guys. So one of those 2 guys is going to be there, and I'm going to be excited with either one. If they go with your boy Jenkins or if they go with my boy Slater, either way, it's going to make me happy because it's like, okay, they're making sense now. They're actually building a team here. You know what I'm saying? Because even just one of those guys will make our line from horrible to decent. Just one of those guys. Because towards the end, obviously, we saw better offensive line play. James Daniels will be back. So having James Daniel back, it's like we grabbed another pick. It's like, oh, we brought another guy. Like he's good. So I think we're going to be fine with at least one stud, like one of those guys that we mentioned. And then in the second round, just get another good guy that could be a backup because people get injured, obviously. So I think both our selections are great, bro. I think somebody commented, your bro commented. Let's see what he got to say here.
Yeah. That's why I'm not getting excited. This is why I'm not getting excited.
You did call it. And John, like we're preparing for the worst, but we're hoping for the best. Earlier you weren't here in the show. Me and EJ were talking about that it is so deep. Like the draft is so deep with positions this year that they're not gonna go wrong. The only way they'll go wrong is if they do something dumb, like EJ saying that they move up and decide to get one of these quarterbacks. That would be the only dumb thing that could happen because it's so deep that you don't need to do that. There's no need unless you get into the first 3. There's no need to do that.
Yeah.
Which I think San Fran got into the first 3 rounds.
Yeah, San Francisco's got the 3rd pick.
Okay, see that was smart. I wonder who they're gonna go with, but that was smart.
A lot of people got him Mac Jones. Honestly, at this point, I don't think. Who knows? They might surprise us and get Justin Fields, but a lot of people don't have them picking Justin Fields anymore. They got them either getting Mac Jones. Some even have them getting Trey Lance. So we'll see.
Facts. All right, man. But with that being said, we've been 1 hour deep. We were actually supposed to cut this one short, but hey, man, when we get to talking about the Bears, it's like I kind of forget the time. You know, I'm just having a good time. So,
Yeah.
let's wrap it up with some shout outs. Go ahead, EJ. You can go first.
Let me shout out my wife for holding it down while I've been on the show. Shout out Josh for always being a part of the stream. And
Yes,
shout
sir.
out for you, my partner in crime on the show. Always holding down. I know you busy, got a lot of stuff going on, so always appreciate it.
Appreciate you, bro. And same thing, likewise, bro. Shout out to you, man. You're always here with me, and I know it gets tough sometimes to get up and do the show, but hey, it's fun. We're having a good time while we're doing it. So I appreciate you, you know, being on this ride with me. Like same thing with my wife, man. She's pregnant. She's doing good. Baby gonna be born a couple, you know, I want to say like about 17 more weeks or so. So pretty excited about that. And same thing with Josh, man. You're always coming out and showing us love, man. So I appreciate you, man. Next week we're gonna talk about all these new players that we got. We're gonna be showing all their highlights and, you know, what we think they're gonna do potentially. So it's gonna be an exciting show next week. So make sure you tune in, Josh. I don't have nothing else to say. You got anything else to say, EJ, before we wrap it up?
Nah, that's it, man.
All right, it was a good show, man. I appreciate y'all watching out there. Peace.